Michel de Nostradamus was a 16th century Frenchman who studied astrology and various other sciences. He is most famous for using his knowledge and apparent superhuman abilities to predict future events. Nostradamus' predictions were published in a world-famous book called The Prophecies, or Les Prophéties. The first edition of the book materialized about 11 years before he died. Since then, Nostradamus and his book have acquired a huge following that believes he predicted numerous world events hundreds of years before they occurred. So here are 5 events that have taken place that some say can be linked to Nostradamus' prophecies. Fire will burn the blood of the just in London in the year 66. One of Nostradamus' prophecies pertained to a fire that will demand the blood of London. Now, whether or not you believe Nostradamus predicted this, on September the 5th, 1666, a fire broke out in central London, starting in Thomas Farina's bakery on Pudding Lane and turned into a 3-day blaze that consumed most of the city. It became famously known as the Great Fire of London. The Great Fire of London affected a huge percentage of the city's residents, with an estimated 70,000 people affected by the fire out of a total of 80,000 locals. The damaged infrastructures included St. Paul's Cathedral, several churches, 13,200 residential houses, and countless city buildings. Again, Nostradamus wrote down, "A fire will burn the blood of the just in London in the year 66. Whether he was referring to the Great Fire of London will remain a mystery, but it certainly sounds plausible. The two great ones will be at war with one another. World War II was a global military conflict lasting from 1939 to 1945, which involved most of the world's nations, including all of the great powers, eventually forming 2 opposing military alliances, the Allies and the Axis. It was the most widespread war in history, with more than 100 million military personnel being mobilized, in a state of total war. The major participants placed their entire economical, industrial and scientific capabilities to the service of the war effort, erasing the distinction between civilian and military resources. Now, Nostradamus stated that the two great ones will be at war with one another. Some say this is referring to World War II, which happened a few hundred years after he died, as the two great ones were at war with one another. But could this be reference to any war? Only Nostradamus himself could tell. From the depths of the west of Europe, a young child will be born of poor people. He who by his tongue will seduce a great troop, his fame will increase towards the realm of the east. Let's break this one down. From the depths of west of Europe, a young child will be born of poor people. Hitler was born in Austria, which is situated in Western Europe. His parents were also very poor during his adolescent years. He who by his tongue will seduce a great troop, his fame will increase towards the realm of the east. Hitler was known for his intense speeches that convinced an enormous German army to follow him, so by his tongue will seduce a great troop matches Hitler's rise to power perfectly. His fame also increased as he joined with Japan in the east. Nostradamus also wrote, "Beasts ferocious with hunger will cross the rivers. The great part of the battlefield will be against Hister. Into a cage of iron will the great ones be drawn, when the child of Germany observes nothing." While many believe Hister to be a written mistake, it is also Latin for the Danube River situated in Central and Eastern Europe. Hitler was born just miles from that river, in what was then Austria-Hungary, also known as the Danube Monarchy. Remember, Nostradamus often incorporated anagrams such as Hister into his writings, so no one will know for sure what exactly Nostradamus was thinking, and whether he actually meant Hitler. But Hisler or Hitler, the fact Nostradamus wrote this hundreds of years before is fascinating. The two great men will die, one during the day and the other during the night. True believers are certain that the deaths of the Kennedy brothers are part of the Nostradamus prophecies that actually came true. John F. Kennedy, killed in the afternoon on November the 22nd, 1963, was the first death of his predictions. He was shot in Dallas, Texas while in a presidential motorcar with his wife, the Texan governor and the governor's wife. On June the 5th, 1968, right after midnight struck, Robert F. Kennedy was also assassinated, fitting the bill of Nostradamus' predictions. Was Nostradamus referring to JFK and his brother as two great men? JFK did die in the day and his brother did die in the night, but what do you think? Now, I saved the best for last. There are many Nostradamus writings that apparently predict 9/11, but this is said to be the most accurate. The year 1999, the 7th month, from the sky will come a great king of terror, resuscitating the great king of the Mongols, before and after Mars to reign happily. Let's break it down. I will save the year 1999 for last. The 7th month. We use the Gregorian calendar, but during Nostradamus days they use the Julian calendar. The 7th month on the Julian calendar is September. From the sky will come a great king of terror. The attacks from out of the sky made Osama bin Laden, the head of the terrorist group said to be responsible for the attacks, the most famous terrorist, aka a great king of terror, resuscitating the great king of the Mongols. During Nostradamus' times, the Mongols were known as Tartans, who terrorized Europe by their attacks, and it's also worth noting that they were also Muslims. Before and after Mars to reign happily. Mars is the god of war. and you could say that we have been at war with the terrorists ever since the attacks. The year 1999. Nostradamus admitted in his writings that he used math to calculate the dates by the movements of the planets that he saw in his visions. He didn't just make up dates. 1999 was based on his own mathematical error and not his prophetic abilities. It is said he miscalculated and should have put 2001 instead. In his writing he states, "Should I, however, have made any errors in my calculation of dates or prove unable to please everybody, I beg that your more than imperial majesty will forgive me." So that's 5 Nostradamus predictions that may be linked to past events. Some believe he was very gifted and did have visions of the future, and others do not. I will be uploading a video soon of 5 Nostradamus prophecies that haven't yet been linked to past events, so may be predictions for the future. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and check out the links in the description if you'd like to further your knowledge on Nostradamus.